Hey everybody, today we're going to be building a project management tool using a new open source AI no-code tool called Dyad. And Dyad is basically an alternative that you have to Lovable, V0, Bolt.new, Replit. You're basically having a model that runs locally on your machine. You don't have to subscribe to anything. You're not dependent by anything. You can run your own local models. You can use services like Google AI Studio to get an API key for Gemini, or you can use OpenRouter, which we will use today, to basically load up models that are either free and open source, or you can load up some credits here from OpenRouter and use each model having very certain cost in mind, which is very insightful and very helpful for cases where you might want to build a full stack app and cost matters to you. I find it's a very interesting app, and I really want to see the capabilities. So without further ado, let's just open up Dyad. As you can see, I was running a couple of experiments before just to test some capabilities. We'll talk all about it. So as you can see, the main welcome screen is very similar to other AI no-code tools. Simple, effective. You have your menus here for the different modes, build and ask. And you also have the capability to switch models. You can choose OpenAI models, you can choose Anthropic models, you can choose, as I mentioned, Google models. In our case, we'll be using a free model to make this experience super open source and free, zero costs. And the one that I'm going to be using is DeepSeek V3, and we can use it for free, as you can see. But the way that this can work to basically integrate the OpenRouter account that you have with Dyad is to go on settings and then AI, and then basically choose one of the providers that you want. In my case, I chose Google, and I dropped an API key here because there was a free tier. And then I chose OpenRouter because there was also a free tier here. As you can see, I got my key exposed. This is something that you should be very aware of. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this to apply good practice for APIs. And I'm going to go ahead and generate a new one, save this here, and basically we will be good to go. Awesome. Now that we saved our key and it's properly applied, we are now being greeted and we're going to ask Dyad to build our application. I prepared a prompt, but I want to try out, instead of building immediately, to ask about some questions that I have. So I went ahead and basically prepared this prompt, which describes the app that I want to build. And it goes as, can you help me think through the component architecture and data structure? Because I want to build a project management application called Taskflow Pro. You have a project task board, a board for task management. Kanban board is something similar to like Trello, I believe. Team member management and assignment, task creation with priorities, due dates and descriptions, and progress tracking. Technical requirements. I feel like it's good to set up your stack immediately. We're going to use React with TypeScript. We're going to use ShadCN for the components, Tailwind CSS for styling, because I find that it eliminates errors, especially on Dyad. And also afterwards, can you please help me think through the component architecture? I need to understand the code base, the state management, UI patterns, data relationships. So let's discuss. I want to see if the ask functionality is actually useful. Let's break this down systematically. Here's our code base organization, projects, tasks, team, UI, shared, the dashboard, the projects, the board, and the team. Have hooks, libraries, types, data structures, tasks, descriptions, backlogs, nice, team members, roles, avatars, yep. State management, given the complexity. I recommend the React query already in your packagization, server state management. Yeah, this is a dummy website, so we're not really worried about this at this point. Key UI patterns, drag and drop functionality for sure, for our boards. Yeah, I feel like everything is very structured. Project card, task cards, yeah, correct names and components, progress bars, assignee selector, priority badges. Awesome. Would you like me to elaborate on any particular aspect? Also, since this will need persistent data storage, we should consider adding Supabase for the backend. It would be good to add this, but I would suggest, or maybe we can try out and see how easy would it be to connect this. Let's see. Let me actually connect to Supabase and see how easy would this be. So let me authorize it real quick. Nice. I feel like we need to create a new project. So let me go ahead and do that in Supabase. Let's create a new project. Awesome. I successfully connected my Supabase and created a new project. So let's reopen the chat here. As you can see, the Supabase integration has been completed. And since that's complete and Dyad understands our project, I would like to go ahead and now implement the core structure at least. So let's say something like, as I prepared here, build the foundation for Taskflow, create the dashboard, Kanban boards as we mentioned. And basically for data, let's just do some samples and let's not really add something that's concrete and actual, so that we can have something that we can also work with, see if the functionality is there. So it's basically whatever Dyad mentioned here laid out as a prompt. So I'm gonna go ahead and click enter, and it's probably gonna take about a couple of seconds to see a generation. DeepSeek was actually very good at building websites on my previews here that I was experimenting with. So I'm very hopeful that we're gonna have a very solid UI here without errors. So let's see. I'm very, very interested to see. So as you can see here, we have some updates already for Taskflow Pro. We created the mock data structure, the stat cards, the index page, the project board, and the navigation routes, and the team management page skeleton. So I want to see if the build is actually gonna be previewed. So let's see, click, check if restarting the app fixes the error. Let's see, restart the app. I feel like there was a minor error, but there was definitely a UI preview here, so that's not bad at all. Let's close this. Failed to resolve import. Does the file exist? Okay, I don't feel like this is a huge issue. So let's go ahead and basically maybe copy this error and paste this here and type something like examine the error above and provide a solution. I feel like it's not a big deal and it's not going to be a big error. So I feel like DeepSeek is going to fix it real quick, but haven't created it yet. Okay, he missed a component. It missed a component, I believe. So it's a very minor issue. Let's see if that's the case. This creates a basic Kanban board, 4 columns, task cards, and the error should now be resolved. Awesome, let's approve. Nice. Let's open this up in a new tab. Amazing. So here's our dashboard, and we are basically able to view our board in progress. There's definitely not the option to still drag and drop. We have a few UI elements missing completely, but the overall idea is here, which is good. So I want to go ahead now and see if we can improve the Kanban board for sure, because there are a lot of things that are missing. I cannot add anything. I cannot drag and drop. Everything is very fixed. So this is definitely something that we need to improve. But other than that, the overall structure in UI is very clean, which is something that's very satisfying. And it's basically something like a mid-fi version of your app at this point, just with one prompt. So let's build the Kanban functionality more now. I'm gonna go back on Dyad and paste the prompt that I prepared. Implement the Kanban board, 4 columns as it is, but we need a visual drag and drop indication, task filtering, quick task creation in each column. And then the task card design, we have the title, description, avatar name and assignee, due date, edit, and delete buttons. We basically need more functionality. The column layout, column headers, we need the task add task button, scrollable columns, mobile responsiveness. Interaction, click task card to edit, hover effects, loading states, success feedback. Make it feel responsive and professional. So let's see if adding guidance about adding more functionality to our app will help Dyad do its job alongside DeepSeek V3, of course. Worked. Let's click approve. And let's click restart here just to make sure. Awesome. Let's open this up again. Roadblock has been upgraded. Nice. Crazy. Anyways, let's go back. Let's open the preview, view the board. So we are now able to definitely sort out and have some sort of filters here, which is good. We can also add a task with no certain functionality at the moment, unfortunately. But this is because we haven't really specified it. Can we edit a card? No. Can we delete a card? No. Can we drag and drop a card? No. Okay. This is also not bad, to be honest. But I think it's a good chance to switch this back to ask and ask with natural language something like the board looks awesome. Let's start introducing some functionality. The ability to add tasks. Whenever user clicks on add task, a card component pops up with input fields for the task to be filled out with, and then buttons to save, discard, and I don't know, something like, I guess, save and discard slash delete. And also I need the ability to be able to drag cards from one column to the other dynamically. Let's see what kind of suggestions Dyad is going to provide for us. We can also customize our AI rules. Very important, good to know. We love tips, especially in new apps. I'm so far very, very impressed actually, because I feel like with an app like Lovable, we would probably have more functionality by now. But let's not remember that this is an open source app with a free model. So we're building something that's very clean already, and I feel like we're gonna have functionalities, even more functionalities soon. So I'm very excited. It's actually a very solid tool so far. First, let's create a create task model. Let's modify the Kanban board. Awesome. So what we need is the title input. Yes. Description. Yes. Priority. Yes. Due date picker. Yes. Assignee selection. Yes. Save and cancel. Yep. Enhance drag and drop. Full CRUD operations. Create, edit, delete, update. Awesome. Would you like me to add any additional fields? No, I feel like we're good. Let's implement the plan. Awesome. I feel like these are awesome suggestions, exactly what I needed. So let's see if they are gonna be implemented efficiently and correctly. As we see, we have some updates on the task forms, the boards, and also we have been suggested to install a package, which we will install. And also, what else? Add task button. Yeah, everything has been implemented supposedly. So let's see if we approve the packages and they're gonna be installed. Let's click restart here just to make sure. Awesome. Let's open this up in a new tab. Let's go back to view our board and let's see if add task. Yep, it does create lorem ipsum test. High priority. The due date is tomorrow for Sam. Yep, here's our test. Unfortunately, I'm not really able to see if I can drag and drop. Can I delete? Yep, I can. I have an error state here that indicates that. But unfortunately, I feel like I'm still not able to move tasks around. I can definitely add and delete tasks. The priority, does the priority color change? Nice. Like the visual feedback. Awesome. Oh, low is green again. Okay, there are some color effect inconsistencies. Overall, the majority of things that I wanted to see are there, but I really want to see the drag and drop functionality. So let's go back here and say something like, oh wait, keep going for what? Oh, maybe it stopped midway. Let's see if I add keep going. Maybe it stopped midway. I'm not sure. Keep going didn't really do much. So let's go back here and specify the following. Please craft the drag and drop functionality for our cards so I can switch columns faster. Also, refine the homepage so that the metrics are being updated in real time as well. Also, examine the page and the color schemes being used in background and foreground elements for all states and ensure positive contrast ratios. Awesome. Let's see. Oh, it's pretty cool that my bullet points became actual bullets here. It's fun. That's a plus in design style. I also feel like, yeah, there's also the functionality to select a component as it comes with every builder. Yep. I like the fact that it also has a little tooltip here that indicates exactly what the component is and where it exists. This is pretty cool. You have our messages here. This is awesome. Yeah, I really dig the whole app so far. I feel like it's a very nice thing to tinker with, support your app. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's see, let's approve the changes. Failed to improve, to import. Does the file exist? Okay, another issue with some file. Let's see if fixing it with AI will help. Let's also restart the application. Okay, let's see if it's gonna be fixed by our friends DeepSeek and Dyad here. There was a missing package, so let's approve the installation and let's now see if we can restart this and if it's gonna work properly. Let's see. Unfortunately, no. Let's see. This will add the missing. After adding dependency, you see here disappear. Have the full drag and drop functionality. Unfortunately, we don't. The requested mode does not provide. That's weird. Let's see. Okay, let's click on fix the error again to see what the examination is gonna be. Default export errors. I feel like it's a minor issue again. Why is the focus so weird? Maybe because of the light in the background. The issue occurs because the component isn't properly exported. Okay, so I feel like it is a minor issue. Nice. Let's see if the changes made will fix our problem. Let's restart. Oh, where's the CSS now? That's not fun. Okay. Let's go back to ask. I am facing an issue with an improper website preview, missing CSS and HTML. Examine the current code and fix all areas necessary. There was some issue after we implemented the drag and drop functionality. Can we implement this correctly or in a simpler way, possibly? Would you like to implement any specific part? Verify all CSS imports, check component, ensure tail link. Yep, all of the three. Let's do this. Let's switch to build and let's do the proper examination here. Let's see now. We had some changes. You need to restart. Yep, let's approve first. Okay, we are back on the CSS values at least. Everything looks as before. So now I think that it's important to try and see if the drag and drop functionality will work. Does not provide the name Kanban board. Okay. Properly configured base styles. Let's see what the error is. Syntax error. Doesn't look bad. I have to dig deeper. Is drag and drop so difficult? I'm not sure, but I might have done something prompt-wise that confused it probably also. But let's see if this is gonna be fixed and we're gonna have a nice, properly working app. There's a mismatch between Kanban board is exported and imported. Let me fix this. Okay. Let me give it some seconds. Let's see if the fixes work now. Awesome. We have the dashboard. Let's reload just to make sure. Amazing. Let's open this up completely. Whoa. I don't see the view board now. Well, I feel like I have to troubleshoot this a bit. So let's go back to Dyad. And I want to see if it's possible to maybe let's see, restart the development server. I want to go back to ask and say something like a lot of elements are missing at the moment. The core structure of the app is not there. And for context, I will provide you with the initial prompt again in order to properly structure the app again. Because I don't feel like I can go to the board. Maybe with slash board I can go. I do, but I see nothing. So there's definitely something that I got wrong or we got lost in translation here. So let's see if asking can bring down some troubleshooting and we can have our app working properly. Core structure. Oh, I forgot to add the context. Yeah, I actually did forget about it. So here's the initial prompt just for context again. So let's go back to the, where is it? Here. Just to make it clear. Awesome. I'll help you rebuild this. Okay, let's rebuild this. I feel like it's not gonna take long. Probably some sort of bug caused this misunderstanding. I recommend starting with the dashboard since it's the entry point. Yeah. Implement the plan. Now let's see if we can have some fixes here. Let's see if the restructuring plan worked. Let's click approve. Awesome. I definitely see changes. View board and the team. Here's our team. Back to the dashboard. Let's view the board. we can definitely go ahead and basically ask for the completion. Let's see, complete Kanban board implementation. Wait, everything exists, but error mock team is not defined. Let's see. I feel like I'm stretching DeepSeek now. View boards. Yeah, I definitely cannot see any boards. So, stack trace, mock team, components. What is going on? Let's see. We need to import mock team in the taskbar components. Okay, let's import this. Awesome, it got fixed immediately, and now I can definitely see a board here. So, oh, this is awesome. So I can definitely change the in column stuff, but I cannot drag to another column. But look, I'm kind of happy that it actually works. Let's see if adding a new task will work. It definitely will. And is it, where is it? ASD? Oh, what's going on? Save task. Wait, test. Assign this. There's a lot of elements missing still. Yeah. I feel like we are stretching out DeepSeek now, but I want to try and see if focusing only on this specific div can give us a few more improvements here. So ensure that all CSS values are applied properly. Make sure that you follow one simple design system with correct visual feedback. The drag and drop works only inside a column. The ability to switch columns by dragging cards is not there yet. Also, upon hover on a card, we need to have the option to delete or edit and also move as an alternative to dragging. Let's at least have one functionality for this not yeah, let's have at least this functionality to move stuff if it can be done by dragging. Let's see. Sorry guys, it's too hot at the moment. Summer in Greece is no joke. Overall, I feel like this is a good experiment, and I'm not very mad at the fact that a few things are not immediately and efficiently done, because again, we are using a free model and we are already doing a lot of progress. So think of having an already in progress app or a UI that's already in a certain state and you want to improve it more. I feel like it's gonna be a good helper. But with just 2 prompts, 3 prompts, and we have an actual visual representation of something that looks like Trello, it's fun. I feel like I'm gonna invest more time in using other models as well to see what the limits are. So let's give it a few seconds more to see the updates here. Nice. Let's approve the changes. And let's open this up again in a new tab. View the board. So now, it happened? Yes, let's go. It did happen. It looks kind of wonky, clunky, or whatever the word is, but it happens, dude. The hover over is fun. Not sure if it's that necessary, but the functionalities are finally there. I cannot delete or edit, but we can specify it now. But I can definitely move stuff, which is fun. I can add new tasks. These are still low quality. So what I want to do now is basically dedicate a few minutes to fix this card to match the exact design style that we have. Introduce maybe a more concrete design system for the buttons, and then ensure that whenever I click on edit, a similar card appears where I can edit the current task or I can delete this immediately. I will prepare a prompt for those, and let's see what the updates are going to be. So I typed the following. When user clicks on the edit button, a similar style pop-up card like the new task card should appear with the current task displayed, and you will be allowed to make changes, save, or discard. If user clicks on delete button, a prompt pops up for confirmation of deletion. User clicks on delete, task get removed. User clicks on no, we go back to the board and improve and refine the UI of the pop-up cards. We're currently lighting a lot of details, CSS and HTML, that can match them to our current design system. After that, and if anything goes well, I will also tackle the buttons, and I feel like we will be good to go. Here we are. Let's implement the changes. Let's see if that's gonna work. Awesome. Let's restart. Nice. View board. So now we can definitely move. The edit part doesn't really work. Delete works well. This doesn't work, which is weird. The new task doesn't work. So let's see. Edit, user experience. Yeah, it never did it. So that's okay. Let's go back here and basically add this again, because now I'm not sure if I can. Yeah, this is not defined. I can probably, no, I just want to, I think I just sent this and I feel like it's gonna get fixed. Sweet. Let's see if those changes will now make our app work properly. Let's hit restart for now, just to make sure. If there's still some sort of syntax error, I will take it, but I would love to see our functionalities in place. So let's see. Unexpected token dialog. Yeah, syntax error. Okay. This is a small error, so we are fine. Please examine and fix the error. Once that's fixed, I feel like we'll have a clear image on if the functionalities are now working properly for our board. I'm seeing another syntax error now, so let's say something like examine the code and please make sure there are no syntax error and that all functionalities are working properly. So now I feel more hopeful that this worked. So let's reload this just to make sure. And I'm going to open this in a new tab and see if all of our functionalities for the board are there. So let's view the board. I can still move stuff around, change the position. I can add a new task, fully refined UI. I like to see that. So let's have this in progress, in high priority. There are still some UI issues, but it's such a refined version. Let's add tailor to that. And okay, so I feel like if there is something that we need to fix before we go, is the fact that whenever I click on create task, it's not added as a task. Once we fix that, I feel like the core functionalities are there and I am satisfied. So let's just fix this minor thing and implement this as well as the button designs, and we will be good to go. So I'm going to select this component and say when user is done with filling out info, when they click on create task, then a task should be added to the board based on all details that user inputted. I'm not sure. Also, finally, please introduce a more clean design system for our buttons component, or maybe button component for all states, and ensure proper contrast ratio between foreground, background, and text elements, as well as the different hover states besides like default, primary, secondary, ghost, etc. So I need those two final changes and I will be very satisfied with this mini app that we built. Also, if you are somebody that is using Dyad actively and you're watching this video, I would love to hear your feedback and any like tips or recommendations on how I can improve what I'm doing here at this moment. I would highly appreciate this. And also, of course, please support Dyad. I will keep using it, so I will probably go pro so that I can have faster generations here. As you can see, you have more credits, you make faster edits, you have more optimization. So definitely support Dyad if you're actually using it and you're satisfied with it. And yeah, if you are somebody that's knowledgeable and you have tips to share, please drop them down in the comments below. So let's see if this worked. And I can now successfully add the task. Weird. Let's see if I restart this, if it can work properly. For DeepSeek, to be honest, because it feels like it forgets the previous steps. Yeah, that's weird because now I just cannot do anything. But let me see if this is easily fixable. So I feel like the buttons are there. They are probably fixed. I wish I could see. So let's type something like, please make sure that our pop-up cards are being properly displayed as before. And besides that, I will type again when user is done with filling out info on the pop-up model that appears when user clicks on new task. When they click create task, yeah, let's see if that fixes it. Nice, let's approve and test the functionality. Let's restart. I feel like we're gonna have a few syntax errors again, probably. But let's see. So, view boards, stack trace is not defined. Huh. Look, I'm gonna give it one last chance and maybe fix it with AI and see if it's a quick fix or we are caught up in a feedback loop now. Let's see. So we managed to fix the missing imports, and now whenever we click on task, the board exists and it definitely adds the task here, but there's for some reason some missing UI elements. So I'm hoping that if I click on this and say something like define the UI so that the buttons appear correctly, will be good. It finally works properly, so I'm very happy for that. And let's see what the update is going to be. So after a few back and forths, as we can see, I was able to basically create the window. There are a few minor CSS issues here, as you can see, but the task is submitted correctly. So I'm not gonna stretch it out more. I feel like this is a good starting point for an app. You can grab the code from here and the whole project file, drop it into something like Windsurf and refine it more. But as a first impression, I feel like Dyad is super cool. It's a very nice tool to use. Great UI, great UX. It really doesn't have anything missing from tools like Bolt or Lovable, but you need to definitely tweak the models that you use or your combos. So I want to definitely dive deeper into that and see what model works best for which case. And yeah, I'm very excited with like open source models and having your own API keys and doing stuff. So this was super fun actually. And yeah, without further to say, let me zoom myself. Thanks for watching. As I said before, if you are a Dyad user, please comment down below and to let me know about your feedback and if I actually tested it out pretty correctly or properly. And so if you're a designer that wants to elevate their game and integrate AI into their brand or graphic design workflows, please book a discovery call with me down below. It's free. If you are a designer that's intermediate or high level and you want to step up your game and get paid and notice more in this new era of AI, please connect with me. My goal is to basically learn what your blockers are and fix them with AI workflows and using our most viral and trending and useful design tools that we know already. So yeah, without further ado, please click the link down below, book a call, and see you in the next one.